Hey everybody, John Soriano here. Happy Tuesday to everyone. And I'm going to do a quick little video here today to talk about stress, anxiety in terms of your self-talk. Because a lot of times the stress and the anxiety that you might be experiencing is coming directly from what you're saying to yourself. And more distinctly, how you're saying it to yourself. Okay, I'm not going to get into long, drawn-out neuro-linguistic discussions or explanations about these language patterns per se. That'll be for other videos and other training stuff to do. But for this one, it's just going to be a very quick change in your linguistic pattern that can shift how your stress and anxiety are affecting you. Okay? So, plus I'm test driving new equipment here, so hey. All right, so here's the thing. How many times have you said to yourself or said out loud to yourself or heard someone say something like, I am stressed or I am anxious? And you thought their name was Pete or Jane, right? Oh, nice to meet you, stressed. I'm John, nice to meet you. But being a little facetious here, but there's something very powerful and often unnoticed in how they're saying that way. When you say to yourself, I am stressed, look very closely at the first two words, I am. Okay, that is an identity statement. And you've made stress now, you've made this, I didn't really use the verbiage, but I'll use it, it's called a nominalization. In other words, you took a verb, and you made it static. You made it a noun. So now what happens is you're stuck in that state, right? Whether it's stressed or anxious. So when you say I am stressed, you've stuck it there, right? And you feel stuck. You feel like you really can't move out of this state. So a very quick trick in order to get you to start moving your emotion instead of having it stuck is to say to yourself, how am I experiencing the emotion of stress right now? Do you see that? Try that. So first say to yourself, I am stressed, and see what that feels like kinesthetically in your body. And more than likely, it feels like you're stuck. Now say, how am I experiencing the emotion of stress right now? Do you feel that little shift? Do you feel that little shift? Because now it's become a verb again. Right? The feeling of stress, right? Now it's something that can move as opposed to something being static. So be very careful when you speak to yourself about things and you start using I am statements, because you're catching that right at the identity level and you're going to stick it there. Same thing with anxious, okay? Someone asks you, how are you? I am anxious. Oof, right? You just feel that. You stick. You're stuck. Same thing. Instead, say to yourself, how am I changing, how am I feeling the emotion of anxiety right now? How am I feeling that emotion? It's what it is. It's not a static thing. It's not a noun. And it's certainly not you. It's not who you are. So you can't own it at the identity level. So let's chunk it back down where it belongs and say, okay, how am I experiencing this feeling of whatever, stress, anxiety? You can use this for depression too. I am depressed. Stuck. No. Instead say, how am I experiencing this emotion of depression right now? Plus, there's a extra little trick in that statement, because now it's what? It's a question. Questions get answers. So how are you experiencing this emotion of stress right now? Well, and I'm just kind of feeling it right in my chest here. Okay, so now you got something you can work with. Okay, all with just talking. We're not using any techniques yet, right? We're not going to tap on it, though. Now you could, right? You have a target that you can go after if you wanted to use EFT tapping, for example. But if I'm just going to have a conversation with you, I can say, oh, okay, well, it feels what? Oh, yeah, it's very, like, my chest just feels heavy. It's like, and it's in my shoulders, like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. Listen for those metaphors also. The weight of the world is on your shoulders. Now, is it really? Now, unless you're Atlas, it's not on your shoulders. But it sure feels that way. So you need to play with your self-talk and start challenging what you're saying to yourself, all right? Because that's how it's getting there in the first place, isn't it? Think about it. What's stressing you out, okay? What is causing you to feel the emotion of stress? It's my job. It's my spouse. It's the election. It could be anything, everything under the sun, right? But ultimately, okay, and this is another key takeaway here, ultimately, it's the meaning you're attaching to those things. Those things are out there, right? Your job is outside of you. Your spouse is outside of you. The election is outside of you. So it's not anything. It's not doing anything to you, right? It's the meaning you're attaching. Now, how do we attach meanings to things? A lot of times, it's how we're talking to ourselves. Okay? This is causing this, and that means that. Okay? So those things like I am statements, I am stressed, I am anxious, I am whatever, be careful with those because that's what's going to get stuck. Okay? So it's a quick little tip. It's a very short video, right? But start practicing with that, and you'll notice that you can start getting some motion. Now, just to give a little extra treat, let's say, how am I experiencing this emotion of stress right now? Okay, everything just feels constricted. Everything is kind of dark. Okay, so start looking at those, what we would call a submodality, right? Or I just say to myself, this is never going to get better, and it's stressing me out. Okay, whatever way it's happening, whether you're seeing something in your head. So, for example, how do you know you're stressed out? It's another good question, by the way. How do you know you're stressed? How are you feeling this emotion right now? I don't know, everything's just kind of going dark. Okay, what if you whited it out? What? What if you whited it out? How would it feel if you start right now, just make everything that's up there, just white it out? It's like Bob Ross with painting. You put a little tree in the corner. It's your world. Do whatever you want. Just white it out. Or maybe put a little tree in the corner because it's your world after all, right? Anything you want. But now you're seeing the inner game, right? The more you take control of your own inner self-talk, the more you see the inner game. And once you start getting control of that, once you start getting conscious of that, you can start getting yourself out of the tailspin real easy just by these few linguistic tricks, right? So play with that. Hopefully it could create a little shift for you here and there right off the bat. And I'll be doing more videos like this, little quick ones, just to give you some heads up on some things that you can try out right now to get some measurable results right now. So if you found this helpful and you like these kind of videos, please subscribe to this channel. There'll be a lot more coming, and you'll see them as they come out if you're subscribed. So just subscribe below, and until next time, take care.